Good afternoon and welcome to the Surrey Sports Park. We are here for WBBL Championship action between the 12-0 Sevenoaks Suns and the 2-12 Caledonia Pride. It's Michael Hanson-Morris and I'm delighted to welcome Josh Bett alongside me this afternoon. Josh, welcome.
Thank you, Michael. It's going to be a very, very good matchup, of course. You know, Sevenoaks Suns are high-flying in the moment right now in the WBBL, and it'd be good to see the competition they're up against with our visitors from Scotland, the Caledonia Pride.
Yeah, and obviously Sevenoaks in a gruelling stretch at the moment, 4 games in 5 days. Sevenoaks obviously still undefeated, having beaten the Cardiff Met Archers here on Wednesday 74-47, and then followed it up with a 60-70 road victory against the Oaklands Wolves. And really the story from that game was Oaklands Wolves in the fourth quarter making a desperate comeback attempt, having held Oaklands to 28 points in the first 3 quarters. Sevenoaks gave up 32 in the fourth, and talking with Coach Glenn Bush before, he was talking about how important it was to make another good start, as they did on Wednesday, Josh.
Yeah, that's one thing about Coach Glenn Bush, is that, you know what, he understands how good his team is and how well they're going to progress this season, but, you know, he's never going to start a game with a week of 5, if you know what I mean, in terms of seeing what his competition's like. He wants to get off to a good start, see where they're at in the third quarter, and if he can be flexible, then he will go to his bench. I mean, he's got a very, very deep bench.
Yeah, for sure. Caledonia Pride coming into this game, having narrowly lost out against the London Lions on Wednesday. Lions short-handed, but Caledonia played a really good game and had an opportunity to win down the stretch, falling narrowly 96-90. We'll talk about more about that game in a minute, but first we will take a minute silence for the Duke of Edinburgh. And minutes applause there for the Duke of Edinburgh. Perfectly observed by everyone here at the Sports Park. So yeah, on Wednesday, Caledonia 90, London Lions 96. And Ella Doherty really stepped up for the Pride. 25 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for the young guard. And one of many Caledonia players who continuing to improve and grow through the season. Catching up with Coach Donny McDonald before the game, he was talking about how his team continues to grow, but the real weakness of the Caledonia Pride this season has really been on the road, and hopefully the overnight stay and everything solved with that is he wants his team to come out quick, and he believes they can establish themselves in this game early. They have the ability to stay with Sevenoaks. Josh, obviously you were here on Wednesday for the Sevenoaks Cardiff game. What were your kind of takeaways from the Suns on Wednesday?
Well, 3 players he knows he's going to have to look out for is obviously Cat Carr. Cat Carr, for me, is arguably one of the greatest players here in the WBBL, along with T. Clark. I mean, together they are probably the toughest backcourt duo. But not to mention Renee Bush as well. That's the 3 players that they're going to have a nightmare to match up with. If they can get off on the mark in the transition very quickly, it's going to be a problem for Caledonia Pride. If they can sort out the transition defense, possibly they can hang in there.
Yeah, and obviously Cat Carr coming in averaging 18 points, 7 assists, and 8 rebounds a game, so close to the triple-double, and she will certainly be in MVP conversation when the season draws to a close in just a couple of weeks' time. As for the Pride, Maud Ranger averaging 17 points a game, the leading scorer, and then nicely helped by Sian Phillips, who is certainly going to be in the conversation for most improved player as well. Sian averaging 13, 3 and 11 this year, so a double-double for the youngster, and she's certainly someone that has the potential to be in the Scotland Commonwealth Games team in the summer, which is a great thing that Scotland will hopefully be able to keep the programme building on.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, there's a lot of pride that goes with Scotland basketball, as we've seen for both the men's and women's. And, you know, it's a great chance for Caledonia Pride to sort of showcase the talent that they have. But this is going to be a tough matchup, of course. You know, one thing about Sevenoaks is they like to get out in transition, but also they go for the right shot. Not one of these teams that plays run and gun basketball. If they've got the clear-cut shot in transition, they'll go for it. If not, they'll pull it out and they'll go to a half-court offense.
Yeah, and both teams just making way onto court. Starters for the Suns, 1 Lavinia De Silva, 8 Renee Bush, 20 Tiani Clark, 22 Kat Carr, and 31 Irene Garrido Perez. As for the Pride, 4 Maud Ronget, 5 Sian Phillips, 13 Jenna Beattie, 19 Ella Doherty, and 20 Polly Story. And everyone continues to show their support for the Black Lives Matters movement, and we are about ready to get underway from the sports park. It'll be Phillips and De Silva for the jump ball, and Suns will have the first possession here at the Surrey Sports Park as the Sevenoaks Suns look to continue their undefeated season and push towards the league title. Tiani Clark looking for De Silva in the block, hands it off to Renee Bush, gets to the baseline, little pull-up for Renee Bush, in, out, and rolls back in again. And Renee Bush struggled a little bit early in games recently and kind of heated up as the game goes on, but she'll be delighted to see a early basket drop for her. Phillips now 5 on the shot clock. She's going to try and drive on Kat Carr. A little bit too strong on the layup, but nice aggressive take by Sian Phillips. And Tiani Clark looking to push in transition, finds Bush. She's going to catch and shoot free. No hand up from Ella Doherty. And that rolls into the hands of the Pride captain, Jenna Beattie. Doherty, as Phillips comes in. Sian Phillips certainly been aggressive this year, and now she's available on the roll, but Doherty's going to take the long two, and Ella Doherty gets the Pride underway.
Well, that's a good shot there, of course, from Doherty, because you see she came off the screen there, but right away you can already see Kat Carr trying to come out and put pressure on the switch. But watch now with the T. Clark with the ball in her hands. I think what they're going to try and do here is try and isolate Lavinia De Silva down low.
Yeah, but this time going to go to Carr, and that little pull-up that normally is automatic for Kat Carr, just a little long, and Polly Story able to pull down the board. You can see Phillips working down low early. She's got the matchup on Bush. She's going to go to turnaround and a little bit rushed maybe perhaps there, Josh?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, that was a situation where she probably should have backed down. She had the time and space there, make a bit of contact, try and get to the free throw line. But one thing I like about the Sevenoaks Suns is they got to try and get the ball down low to Lavinia De Silva. Every time the ball goes down low, it's all sorts of problems for any team they're against. Yeah,
De Silva nearly averaging a double-double this year. As Renee Bush working on Doherty, shot clock's low, and Ella Doherty blocks it, but actually, unfortunately for Ella Doherty, block will not count because the ball was still in Renee Bush's hands, but great defense, and Doherty having an impact on both ends of the floor early on. 2 minutes gone at the Surrey Sports Park.
Well, that's just great defense, man-to-man, of course, not to mention help-side defense coming from Caledonia Pride, because one thing I saw in the last game of the Sevenoaks Suns is anytime the ball was in the hands of Renee Bush or Kat Carr, it was isolation period all game long.
Ronget a little bit late, finding she was open on the flare screen. De Silva's going to hard hedge, but it's going to leave Ronget wide open. Foul line jumper just a little off, but a great look for the Pride as Sevenoaks kind of got their ball screen coverage mixed up there. De Silva went to hard hedge as Carr has to kick it out again. Good active defense from the Pride on the help side. Now Kat Carr working on Ronget, gets to the foul line as the French international reaches down, and Kat Carr to the line for 2.
Well, that's just what Kat Carr is all about. I mean, she's trying to get down and to find the space and try and get an opening. Even though she got to the basket, they had to foul her to stop her from making it. And that's what you know you're going to get from Kat Carr. Just a very experienced, smart basketball player who knows how to isolate. But she missed the first free throw after I've given her all the accolades.
Yeah, Kat Carr coming in, shooting 88% from the line on the season. Unbelievably not a team high. And these little points are things that Len Bush knows are vital on this stretch. As Ronget now right wing, Suns in a 1 point lead, just over 3 minutes gone. Story tries to find Phillips on the high low, but ball comes out. Ronget blows the layup, and Sevenoaks will have a 3-on-2 initially in transition, but Pride able to get back, but can't match up with the trailing Lavinia De Silva. And looks like De Silva there coming up limping, so hopefully she's okay. And now it's Story inside, goes to the right-handed hook. Story can't get it to go, and a strong rebound by Tiani Clark, leading rebounder for the Suns. And again, Pride just a little bit disorganised in transition, but managed to make the play, and now De Silva, another a layup attempt, and can't get it to go. And that's two good looks for Lavinia De Silva that you'd expect her to make.
Well, I think Lavinia De Silva, I think she took a knock on the knee or possibly a slight twist in the ankle when she came out and hedged the screen on a few plays back. But there, you're right, two good looks down low. One thing about Caledonia Pride is they know how to collapse down low whenever she gets the ball.
As Phillips can't get the offensive rebound to go, neither can Garrido Perez on the free. And it's something Sevenoaks is certainly going to have to do. They're a good rebounding team, but Sian Phillips averaging nearly 4.5 offensive boards a game. League leader. As Story's going to line up a rare three, little short again, and both teams struggling here early at the Surrey Sports Park. 4 minutes gone, still just the 5 total points on the board. Suns leading 3-2 as Tiani Clark loses the handles, looking for an option. De Silva open on the back door, but the length of Story able to break up the pass. Good defense again by Caledonia. And the question is, can they convert these opportunities into makes? Rongier again can't go, and again, Sian Phillips so aggressive on the glass, but Kat Carr did a great job of boxing her out. And now she's going to work again in transition. Decides against backing down Rongier, but finds Renee Bush wide open three. Good. And Josh, the one person you can't leave open in this team is Renee Bush from three.
I mean, absolutely, that's what Renee Bush is all about, spotting up from the perimeter. But I mean, one thing, as soon as Kat Carr got the ball in the low block, 2 Caledonia Pride players coming over for a double team, it's going to leave somebody wide open on the perimeter.
Yeah, Bush 43% on the season from three, and again Caledonia trying to work the high-low. Story to Phillips, tipped away, and Coach Len Bush will go to the bench. Millie Stevens will be the first in this afternoon, and that is certainly a change in the lineup for Coach Len Bush. Normally we see Janice Monacana first off the bench, but a little change, and also Izzy Wood into the game as well.
Well, Millie Stevens was excellent in the last game. I mean, she's a very strong with the left hand. She likes to shoot the ball. She can also get to the basket. But right now, I think you can see what the Caledonia Pride are doing. They're trying to get Lavinia De Silva away from the basket. But at the moment, they've got to knock down shots if they're wide open. Yeah,
and Ella Doherty trying to spin back to the baseline. Fouled there by Kat Carr. First team foul of the game for the Suns, and it'll be Sian Phillips to trigger the inbound. Wide open look for Rongier. In and out again. Sian Phillips, though. Big offensive rebound, but again, unfortunately, just can't find the putback. But Rongier coming in for Caledonia as their best shooter, so just a tale of people not being able to make shots right now. And Kat Carr this time will settle for the three. Tipped out by Phillips, and Pride can run 3-on-2. Doherty gonna go to the little runner, and again, Caledonia just struggling to find it, but they're getting the looks they want. As Stevens to Wood, and Sevenoaks going to back it out in transition. De Silva, poor pass, but again, veteran plays by Kat Carr, able to find it, put it in an area where teammate can come get it and keep possession alive, as De Silva with the little 10-foot pull-up. But really, at this end, Caledonia can't be too upset, Josh. They're getting the looks they want, they're just not converting.
Well, the last fast break play the Caledonia Pride had, you know, they came up with a loose ball, they got out in transition, nobody was running wide with them. When you play against a team like the Sevenoaks Suns, you got to make every basket count. Whether it's going for a second chance point or that's getting out in transition, you have to run with this team if you've got the chance.
Yeah, and Donnie McDonald says they're better in out in transition and playing less sets this year. It's an adjustment they've made as a program. As Kat Carr working 5 on the shot clock. Story and De Silva. De Silva's going to kick it out fine. Garrido Perez, the free is off to the right. An athletic rebound attempt by Millie Stevens. And in the process, she is fouled. Foul will be on Jenna Beattie, her first, team's second. And for the first time this afternoon, Pride going to the bench with the Ella Doherty coming out. And in Silva's going to kick it out fine. Garrido Perez, the free is off to the right.
De Silva had a very good chance there. She's still the defender in the low block there. She's got to go one-on-one. Yes, we know that she's a great passer. She's trying to get other players involved, but hands down for me, she's one of the best post players in the WBBL. She's got to take that isolation on.
And a couple of more changes. Janice Monacana in for the first time for the Suns as Kat Carr called for the illegal screen. That will be her second. And Coach Len Bush showed last week in the game against the London Lions, the one person you can probably give the range to play on 2 fouls is someone like Kat Carr. But ideally, not a great look for her to be on too early, and she'll be smart now as Phillips going down low again, trying to use the length this time. Sian Phillips able to lay it home. She was 0 of 4, now 1 of 5, and the Pride just hanging around early. They can't get the looks to go, but holding the Sevenoaks Suns to 8 points. It's allowed them to kind of get away a little bit more with this slow start. Another change for the Pride as well that we missed. Ava Kerr into the lineup as Garrido Perez drives, wraparound pass, Monicana, extra pass to Stevens. Tries to avoid Ava Kerr. Again, good defence by Kerr. Made Stevens change his shot and again forces Stevens into a tough layup. And really, Suns right now, no offensive rhythm at all, Josh.
Well, you know, they overpassed the ball. I thought it was a good play, actually, but Millie Stevens has to kind of tuck that one away when she got the final pass. But now you can see Caledonia Pride. The previous play, I thought Sean Phillips did a better job of backing down, but right now they've got to sort out transition play here.
And Monicana misses the layup. Wood, offensive rebound, is going to kick it to Garrido Perez. She will take the pull-up 15-footer. Again, a little short. Big rebound by Kerr, and now Caledonia with the chance to run. Phillips trying to come back to the right hand though there. If she can just find the middle of the floor, she maybe gets it, but now she gets to her left hand. And Sean Phillips, coast to coast, layup is good. And Sean Phillips starting to really dominate this game on the offensive end for Caledonia. And you can see there how her development continuing to grow. And she gets the Pride back to within 2 minutes left of this first quarter as Kat Carr goes to the pull-up again. Can't get it to drop.
Well, this is where Caledonia Pride need to run. You got 3 players in the backcourt still. Someone's got to get forward as Phillips gets it now on the low block.
And there you go, Sean Phillips this time gets the little jumper to go. Good defense by Kat Carr. And Suns right now in a big problem as Maud Rongier nearly strips the ball. We'll see what Coach Len Bush does. Indeed. He does nothing because in a timeout from the Pride as Coach Donnie McDonald nearly stripped. Maybe perhaps wanting to just get a little breather in, because you could see there, Josh, just Caledonia a little bit tired coming down the floor, and with the 2 bigs, they couldn't get one to rim run, and that's what you kind of need in those situations.
Well, right now for them, it's all about Sean Phillips, because the first play she had in the low block, it was a turnaround. It was a very poor percentage shot, respectfully, but after that you can see she's been a lot more aggressive trying to make that contact, get to the basket, and that's one way they're trying to get out in this game. Yeah,
and on the offensive end for the Suns, what have you seen, Josh? They're 3 of 14 right now, 2 of 11 from inside the arc, and again it's a case of good shots not making, or do you think they're maybe overpassing the ball a little bit and not taking some of the looks you normally expect this team to make?
Well, they're out of rhythm right now. You know, it's very easy to come out of a game and miss your first few shots and then for your confidence to drop. Yeah, they're playing some good basketball. They're moving the ball very well. But, you know, if you're Kat Carr, if you're Lavinia De Silva, Renee Bush, you can't pass up open looks. And you know the player Kat Carr, she's going to keep on shooting the ball because eventually these shots are going to drop.
Yeah, and good afternoon to all of you joining in the chat. Already got a couple of comments from Ray Atkins and Big Dob Balling down at Essex, part of the Essex Rebels commentary team. And Suns will be back at the Essex Arena in the not too distant future, as will the Caledonia Pride. The Pride having to make the midweek trip down to Essex in about 10 days' time. As both teams back onto the floor after timeout. No changes for the Suns. Oh no, Rennie Bush in fact back in for the Suns as Kat Carr comes out on those 2 personal fouls. Monica working in the high post. It's going to give it up, and Tiani Clark settles for the 15-foot pull-up, and Tiani Clark can't leave her open no matter where it is on the floor.
That's what we talk about, having those open looks. If you missed your first few shots, it doesn't mean you got to stop shooting the ball. When you're a top player on your team, you have to go for those open looks.
And see if the Pride can respond. Rongier off again, a little bit short, but Pride all over the rebounds. Tie up between Izzy Wood and Rose Harvey there. And with the possession area will be the Pride ball. New 14 seconds on the shot clock. Also checking in that timeout for the Pride, Elise Tweedy into the game. So lots of size on the floor for Caledonia right now. See if they can. And he wants 10 seconds on the shot clock, so just a small tweak there. And we'll see if Pride can get another clean look off the inbounds. It's with Harvey. She's going to drive it into the middle of the lane. Look down low, and another tie-up as Tweedy was double-teamed. So turnover for the Pride.
Should have kicked that one out to Ebba Kerr because she was wide open on the baseline. Maybe that's not her shot, but again, you're passing the ball down low. There's 2 defenders, and the double team comes over. It's a careless turnover there for the Caledonia Pride.
Yeah, now again, Suns trying to establish the ball in the high post. Monicana driving. Good defense by Kerr. Kicks it out to Izzy Wood, and her 3 a little short, but a great rebound by Tiani Clark. And she completes the terrific play. Got the foul on the putback, but really it all came from that offensive rebound. It was short by Wood, and normally you just see those roll out of bounds, but Tiani Clark able to grab it and has a chance to complete the 3-point play.
Well, I've been colleagues now with T. Clark when I was working at the previous American school down the road here, and knowing the amount of work she puts into a game. But she's just one tough player. She goes in for any rebound, defensive or offense. That's what you're going to get with Tiani Clark. She's tough as nails.
And now the Pride trailing by 5. Can they take advantage? They've got a 2-for-1 opportunity here if they go quick enough. Ball's with Kerr on the wing, guarded by Stevens. She loses the handle, and Sevenoaks won't get anything in transition, and both teams will have one final possession of this first quarter. Suns currently leading 13-8, and again Sevenoaks trying to establish the high post. Monacana fakes the handoff, going to drive on on Tweedy, doesn't hit anything. Monacana own rebound, and she hits the bottom of the backboard, but referee Farouz calls the foul, and Janice Monacana to the line for 2.
Well, that was a smart play there by Monacana, because you see there's a high post player there. She got the ball at the top elbow. She faked 2 passes. The defense went with those fakes. She went straight to the basket. I personally felt the first one was a foul, but again, very, very smart move.
Yeah, and Janice Monacana's done a terrific job for the Suns this year in that 6-person role. Everyone kind of says, why doesn't she start? But it's the symmetry this group have found that it's really worked with Janice coming off the bench, and she's had some huge performances, including in the final where she nearly, almost single-handedly gave the Suns a chance to win. Pride going to push and perhaps not hold for the final shot. Phillips from the foul line off to the right, and Suns have got 6 seconds. Tiani Clark, full court pass to Monacana, and foul is called. Looked like Kerr did a terrific job of getting back and causing the steal, but a little bit of the arm there, and really that's the inexperience from the Pride, rushing that shot down on the final end and gave Suns a chance of defensive rebound and push.
Modern day game of basketball, yes, you can call that a foul, but again, you got to just love the absolute defensive effort there by Kerr to get back on defense. And you know what, 2 free throws is a better option than go for an easy layup, of course, but Monacana, she is a very good free throw shooter. She should be knocking these 2 down, but she'll have the second one.
Yeah, Janice Monacana, 68% from the line. Will have a chance to get it to an 8-point game, but again, it goes 0 of 2. Phillips defensive rebound, and Harvey's going to throw from her own free throw line, and that is off, and that will do it for the end of the first quarter here at the Surrey Sports Park. Sevenoaks Suns 15, Caledonia Pride 8. And Josh, really until the last couple of minutes there, a game dominated by the defense.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you look at Caledonia Pride, they've come into here. It's been a long, long journey for them to travel from Scotland to come here to the south of the UK. Defensively, they've been an absolute nightmare and frustrated the Sevenoaks Suns. Every time they get the ball in the low block, there's a double team. They do try. The one thing they do need to get better at is trying to get out in transition. And I think so much emphasis has been put on defense that by the time they get the ball, it's almost like, okay, let's slow it down a little bit. No, you got to go at the Sevenoaks Suns. You got to try and make every basket count. So we'll see how that goes here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and for sure, and really the Pride will be looking for their leading scorer, Maud Ranger, to step up. She's averaging 17 points, 9 rebounds a game, and right now 0 of 6 from the floor, and really it's been 6 good looks. It'll be shots that I'm sure Pride are happy with. They've just not been able to drop so far, and then really Sian Phillips again being super aggressive, getting downhill and causing some problems, and hasn't been rewarded with free throws yet, but if she keeps going, no doubt she'll put some pressure on the Suns' interior defense.
Well, for Caledonia Pride so far, it's all a bit about Sian Phillips. But, you know, the same thing I said for the Sevenoaks Suns. The shots aren't dropping. The best players need to keep on shooting the ball. And the same thing goes, of course, for Ranger. She has to keep shooting the ball. You can see she's got a quick release. She does take good shots. But she's got to keep on shooting them if they're going to get back in this game.
Yeah, as for the Suns' leading scorers, Renee Bush with 5 points, and then Tiani Clark with the 5 points and 5 rebounds, including that tremendous putback and after the offensive rebound. And we'll have teams are just heading out onto the floor, and more changes for both sides. So in for the Suns for the first time wearing 13, Zulika Franklin, and also 14, Kat Holm. And the Pride coming out with Phillips, Doherty, Story, Kerr and Ranger. And completing the Suns lineup is Bush, Clark and Monacana. So 4 absolute veterans for the Suns. And then the 1 academy player in Franklin. And we're just getting a scoreboard reset, and it'll be Sian Phillips to inbound to Ella Doherty to get us underway in this second quarter. Suns 15, Pride 8 after 1. And a quick look as well as the ball is deflected out of bounds. Half-time score in the early WBBL game. Durham, Newcastle in the North East derby, tied at 31 at the end of the first half. Claire Paxton with 14 for Durham. As Rongier now looking to use the ball screen for Story, throws it inside, gets it back. She's going to toe the line again on a long jumper. And Josh, it's the third or fourth time it looks like it's been a free, but she's just toed the line, and perhaps that's not helping with the jump shot.
I think there was a bit of hesitation there because I think she knew it was a long two, and those long two shots are always low percentage shots, but they can see there's another knockdown there, of course, for Monicana. We've seen time and time again she can step out and shoot very well from the perimeter.
Yeah, Janice Monicana, 43.5% from free on the season. Shoots about 3.5 a game. And that's another big weapon for the Suns as Doherty hands to Phillips. 7 on the shot clock. Phillips up and under move, and really pretty. Referee happy to let it go, and good use of the footwork by Sian Phillips. And she's up to 8 points personal and keeps the scoreboard ticking over for the Pride. They need to string some of these stops with scores. And it'll be Renee Bush now working on Phillips. Has to kick it out. Tiani Clark, long two, up and long. And rebound pulled down by Kerr on the weak side. And she's going to push herself. And nearly lose the handle, but able to keep the ball in the front court. And Caledonia now set up in the half court. Polly Story looking for the ducking of Phillips. Good strong ducking by Phillips. She's going to spin to her right, in and out. But another good look for Phillips. And Sevenoaks probably going to have to make some adjustments on Sian Phillips at some point, Josh.
Definitely, sure. I mean, but at that point there when she got the ball in the low block, there was definitely a reach at that point. But
as Monicana thought about another free, but backs it out, going to try and work on Story. Good defense by Story, and Monicana lose the handle. Looks like she got a hand caught, and Pride out in transition. Rongier to Ella Doherty, and Pride able to keep the scoreboard ticking over, and Janice Monicana is certainly seen to be hurt on the other end of the floor, but that transition offense, exactly what you're talking about, Josh.
Well, that's how you need to play with the Sevenoaks Suns. You can't play at their tempo. If you can beat them in transition, do it. If you can't, then you've got to find other ways to stay in this game. But right now for Caledonia Pride, if they can get out in the fast break, right now they've got to take care of Monicana. She's wide open. And that's one problem. You cannot leave her wide open from downtown.
Well, you can if you think she's hurt her hand, but it's clearly not affecting the shot that much. And maybe that was a little bit of a tactic. You obviously see teams sometimes trying to go at injured players or let them go, as Ella Doherty called for the illegal screen. And Janice Monicana still shaking that hand, but having the confidence to knock it down open, and all credit to her. And she will, I was going to say she'll take a break, but I think we have a timeout called. We'll just see. It seems to be mass confusion. And I've got no idea what's going on.
They've called an offensive foul, so it should be Sevenoaks ball. I'm not sure anybody called timeout, but going on to Janice Monicana, she's just gone to the bench as now Lavinia De Silva comes back into the game. The last time you and I were down here for a WBBL game together, Janice Monicana for me was the MVP of that game. Steps out, shoots the perimeter shot. She can also play in the low block as well. So this could be a defensive nightmare for Caledonia Pride if she gets off to a good game tonight.
Yep, and Sian Phillips taking her first break of the afternoon, replaced by Taryn Cummings, and she is working on, check that, it was Rongier working on Tiani Clark, forced her to miss the jumper, but home with the offensive board. Suns have starting to dominate a little bit on this end of the glass, and Tiani Clark again, not a lot of ball movement for the Suns this possession, and the ball is, I was going to say the ball is stripped, but ball is stripped because Maud Rongier got Tiani Clark's arm, and she'll be rewarded with free throws once again.
That's just how good a player Tiani, I call her T obviously because I know her very well from when I worked with her at the American school, but you see what a great player T Clark is. She missed a few shots, her confidence didn't drop, she was able to penetrate down low and draw the contact, and now she's at the free throw line. She handles the ball very, very well. But right now I think she's going to keep on trying to get a perimeter shot going in this game, and if that happens, it's going to be a problem for Caledonia Pride.
Yeah, Tiani Clark now 15 of 20 on the season, then she goes 1 of 2 of the line, and Ella Doherty again looking to push and get downhill early in the shot clock, but it's forced to back it out. Got the good switch with De Silva, trying to fire it inside, but Sevenoaks able to get in the passing lanes, and Caledonia with a rare turnover in the third of the afternoon. And the Pride have done a good job early. De Silva double team, kicks it out. Garrido Perez from 18 foot wide open. And again, Pride trying to protect the interior, and Sevenoaks, an experienced team, just to be able to make them pay. As Cummings to Beattie. Pride right now struggling with spacing, 2 or 3 players trying to post up, and Coach Donnie McDonald not going to be happy with that. Story now gets the ball down, and she's going to work on De Silva. Goes to her right, hook shot off, and ball tapped out of bounds by Pollyanna Story. And Sevenoaks will get another defensive stop, and they will look to continue to push this lead that has expanded to 12.
Well, that's a good look there for Pollyanna Story, down in the low block. But that's another opportunity they can't miss. When you get the ball in the low block, you've got to make that contact and try and get to the free throw line. I mean, that's a big difference in this game, is Sevenoaks are getting to the charity stripe. But right now, Caledonia Pride probably just not doing it enough. That's one way. They're now down by 12. The lead's been as big as it has been in this game so far, so they've got to improve that.
Yep, and see if the Pride can get stopped. De Silva flashing to high post, comes and sets the ball screen. Tiana Clark into the lane, now finds De Silva. Silva's going to try and go up and under, but good defense by the Pride to make Lavinia De Silva's life tough. And now Polly Story looking to go coast to coast in transition. Home cuts her off. Story able to dump it down low. Extra pass by the Pride. I've got no idea who's in the corner. I can't see, but Zoea Franklin able to pick off the pass. It was intended for Ella Doherty. And the Pride offense really struggling in the last couple of minutes to even get looks. Now Home thinks about the three. She's going to drive, and Story able to cut her off. And Franklin open on the baseline, but ball finds the hands of Tiana Clark.
Tough
She's going to be aggressive.
That's a foul for me. There's contact made there.
But referee happy. Sean Phillips got the ball, and she's now going to go coast to coast. Looking, Home does a great job of staying in front, and a really tough finish by Sean Phillips. And there's not a lot you can do about that. Home stayed in front, got 2 hands up vertically to contest, and Sean Phillips, good offense beats good defense.
Again, we've seen that all game so far from Sean Phillips. It's not just making a drive to one direction. It's reading the defense, shifting over, and you saw it was a spin out there, and she was able to lay that one off the glass, and that's a good move for her. She needs to keep doing that if they're going to come back into this game. And Coach Donnie McDonald will use this opportunity to use his second timeout of the first half. Caledonia trailing 14-24 here at the Surrey Sports Park. And it looked like more changes were set to come in for the Suns prior to that timeout. Hayley Miller, who's had a big impact in a couple of games in the 5 spot for the Suns, looks like she will be heading in for her first action. And Josh, just talk about some of this Caledonia Pride program. Obviously, 5-6 years ago they weren't a franchise, and obviously the initial plan was to build this team up for the Commonwealth Games. Obviously narrowly missed out in the qualifying tournament, but the progression of this Pride program, what we're doing to give the young Scottish players a chance to expose themselves to a higher level of basketball. Yeah, I mean, of course, we've seen that with Caledonia Pride, but I think we could say that about almost every basketball program here in the WBBL, for that matter. I think the amount of progression that we've seen the teams have, and the amount of young players coming through the system, as well as Americans coming to this country, has improved. And I think right now, if other teams can follow the same model, we can definitely see the future of the WBBL definitely improve in the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, and obviously Pride made that glory run 2-3 years back, all the way to the WBBL Cup final, where they narrowly lost out to the Nottingham Wildcats. They're just ultimately one defensive rebound away from having a shot to tie or win that cup final down in Birmingham. And some of these youngsters have been on this roster all the way through. The likes of Polly Story, Ella Doherty have spent 3-4 years here now, and obviously at the University of Edinburgh, continue to develop their career. And it will be the Suns ball coming out of this timeout. Suns with Miller, Clark, Carr, De Silva and Garrido Perez on the floor, as Kat Carr checking in on those 2 fouls. Can't get a little pull-up to go, and Sean Phillips again looked like initially she's going to be aggressive. This time Story gets good position, but Hayley Miller from behind able to knock it down, and now it's Lavinia De Silva leading the break, and she will back it up, as Lavinia De Silva probably not known for her ball handling in the open court. And Tiana Clark unable to get the 3 to go, and now Gianna Beattie able to slow it down, find Polly Story. She'll get into the middle of the floor, get the contact from Miller sliding to her right. And again, Caledonia trying to be more aggressive early in the shot clock, even if it's not necessarily to score. It seems to me that they're trying to get into the paint, get the defense to collapse, and see if they can make something go from there.
Well, again, we talked about getting into the lane, taking high percentage shots. You got to make the contact. You got to get to the free throw line. That was a strong move by Pollyanna Story because it didn't really look like it was going to be a high percentage shot. And she was able, I think it was Millie Stevens they called the foul on there, if I'm correct, or was it home?
On Hayley Miller.
Hayley Miller, excuse me, yeah. But again, great way to draw the contact. And again, draw yourselves to 2 free throws, and this is how you chip into the deficit. But now they got to do it down the other end on defense.
Yep. And again, the Pride with a little 4-6-0 run just to try and hang around. If they can keep this to a 6 or 8 point game at half time, they'll give themselves an opportunity. But you don't want to leave Tiani Clark wide open late on the switch. And Tiani Clark able to knock down the free throw jumper with ease as Ranger tries to go to work on Clark, but she will give it out. Now Ella Doherty gets into the paint, and again good defense by the Suns to collapse, not give a lane and force the kick out. And Polly Story again driving into 2 or 3, and they're the looks you really don't want if you're Pride.
At that point, someone's got to go in for an offensive rebound because, again, you're trying to chase back into the game. You've got to find ways to get back in. If you don't get the foul, you don't get the shot, somebody's got to come up with the second opportunity chance for them. Well, now Sevenoaks have to turn around because Caledonia Pride are going to try and catch them off guard here.
Yeah, and again, Pride trying to take a sneaky quick inbound. The referee happy to give it to him after Garrido Perez turned it over on the out of bounds. And see, Ella Doherty's going to stop behind the screen and get one to go, and Caledonia get their first triple of the afternoon. They'd only taken 2, but Ella Doherty able to knock that down, and she's up to 7 points personal. And the youngster, who will no doubt be back in the GB junior national team setup if they run in the summer, having an ever-growing impact. She started the season slow by her standards. Ella Doherty off to Toledo next summer as Garrido Perez on the 3 off. Big offensive rebound by De Silva, but again can't get the layup to go. But another offensive rebound, this time Tiani Clark, and Maud Ranger out of bounds fighting for the rebounds. But Suns now with 11 offensive rebounds, Josh, and the one thing you can't do with this team is they're good enough that you can't give them second chance opportunities, really.
Well, that was just a great rebound there by Lavinia De Silva. I mean, it was, I think she's holding on to a finger there. She might have just injured herself. But again, great defense, of course, from Caledonia Pride. As now you can see Kat Carr pulls up to the mid-range. But again, offensive rebound one more time.
Yeah, and now there's the impact we were talking about Hayley Miller having coming in at the 5. Obviously getting expanded role with the departure of Julia Koppel over the Christmas break, as Ella Doherty, again to her left hand. Looked like she got some contact there, but referee's happy to let it go. And Sevenoaks Suns have a chance to get this lead back into double digits. This time De Silva in the post, kicks it to Miller, but a huge block by Kerr.
Said, not in my house.
And what a terrific play to go from help straight to know where your player was to make the block. And, sorry, it was not Kerr. Kerr's not in the game, I don't believe it. It's Tweedy, sorry. As Jenna Beattie lines up the 3 a little long. And Tiani Clark able to pull down yet another defensive board. Tiani Clark now up to 8 rebounds as Kat Carr
tough one, that one.
Just can't get the leg to go. And now maybe those 2 early fouls affecting Kat Carr, but Pride out in transition. Right-handed layup, no good for Tweedy. And a contested rebound. But again, Pride having some success getting stops and pushing the ball. But the layups are the ones you certainly need.
Well, again, that was a great job there by Elise Tweedy there to run the transition as a trailer down the middle, because I debated this many weeks ago. Whenever you've got a power forward or a post player that can get out and transition quickly, go for it. I mean, a lot of people do like to say you want them to hang back as a trailer, but if you can get out, get forward. That's how you're going to assert yourselves very much in this game. And
Suns this time trapping the ball screen. Ranger managed to find Phillips 4 on the shot clock. Ella Doherty already knocked 1 down, gets another wide open look, this time just a tad short. And Kat Carr able to pull down the rebound, but a great look for Ella Doherty. And really in the same spot, she knocked 1 down just 1 minute earlier. As now she tries to get Renee Bush off the line. She does, as Renee managed to step back for a long 2. She can't get it to go. And Ava Kerr gets away with the travel. Ella Doherty going coast to coast in transition. Layup again can't go. Good defense by Kat Carr just to move out the way. Looked like Doherty was expecting the contact. And now it's the Suns with a 3-on-3. Bush to Garrido Perez, but Pride able to get back. But Lavinia De Silva just sneaking in down the floor as a trailer. And Sevenoaks Suns back into 2. So back into double-digit lead. And now a turnover by Doherty trying to push the ball ahead. Suns with another 3-on-3. See what Kat Carr can do. Fakes one way back to it. And Kat Carr really struggling by her standards early on.
Well, that's what great players do. Great players find a rhythm, and right now she's struggling. But if you know for one thing about Kat Carr, she is going to catch fire at some point in this game. I mean, she's that great at play. But going back to Lavinia De Silva, the movement that she's been having in the low block has been phenomenal right there.
And Sian Phillips doing everything but getting the finish, and this time turns it over after pulling in the offensive rebound. Suns again got a chance to run. Tiani Clark stopped on the free throw line. Renee Bush wide open free, and surprisingly can't get it to go, and it does almost seem like there's a lid on the basket at both ends early on. Still really low scoring both times. Now Phillips spins, kicks it inside. Tweedy able to keep it alive. Rongier with the jumper can't go. Athletic save by Sian Phillips. Finds Tweedy inside, and Sian Phillips continuing just to make plays.
Well, Caledonia Pride right now, they 20 seconds to try and get a stop here, but they're scrambling for baskets, and right now Sevenoaks Suns are out of rhythm. So they've got to run the clock down, get the last shot here, and go into the halftime break and recompose themselves.
And Kat Carr working on Sian Phillips, spins to the baseline and gets it to go. 6 seconds to go. Phillips looks tired, but not time to go. Ellie Doherty looks up, sees the clock, gives it to Rongier. She'll take the deep three on the buzzer, and for a second I thought it'd gone in, but just a little short for Maud Rongier. And that will do it for half-time. Sevenoaks Suns 32, Caledonia Pride 21. And Josh, not the prettiest for the Suns, but their defence again just continue to do what they do and stifle other teams.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look, it's one of those games where the fatigue sets in. It could be a lot of things. It could be mental fatigue, physical fatigue. We don't know at the moment. But again, going back to Kat Carr, she's had a tough first half, but that last play there where she got the ball in the low block, she did a spin out, went baseline. That is the difference between a good player and a great player. And at some point, Kat Carr, Tiani Clark, and Renee Bush, they're going to catch fire. It's just a matter of how long Caledonia Pride can hold on and try and get back into this one.
For sure, and Sevenoaks really doing it by committee on the offensive end. Leading scorer at the break for the Suns, Janice Monicano with 8 points. Kat Carr, 3 points but 10 rebounds. Tiani Clark already close to a double-double, 7 and 9. And as for the Pride, who are shooting just 25%, they're 9 of 35 at the interval. It's Sian Phillips, 10 points, 6 boards. And Ella Doherty with those 7 points, including that triple. And Josh, just before we take a break here, just talk about what you've seen from Caledonia and trying to be aggressive and try and get downhill when they've not really necessarily been rewarded with free throws, but trying to do the right thing of, instead of taking tough jump shots, getting into the lane and forcing teams to make decisions around the hoop and avoid fouling, which Sevenoaks have done.
Well, they've been getting good shots. It's not like they're taking poor shots where it's run and gun. I mean, they are passing the ball. They are getting good looks inside. You know, when you play against a team where you're up against very tough physical defense, I mean, Sevenoaks have got great defenders in the backcourt. They've got great defenders in the low post. You've got to make the defense move. You've got to work for every basket you take. You have to get to the free throw line. So far for Caledonia Pride, it's all been about Sian Phillips. She's, for me, been the only one when getting into the lane, either trying to shift and use the agility or make that contact and get to the free throw line. You can't just go into the lane and throw up a prayer and hope, okay, if I miss it, I'm going to get 2 free throws. You've got to read the defense. You've got to see what the defense does, and you've got to make yourself get to the free throw line.
Yep, and that will do for the first half here at the Surrey Sports Park. We will take a break, and at half-time it's the Sevenoaks Suns 32, Caledonia Pride 21. Welcome back to the Surrey Sports Park, where we will shortly get underway with the second half of this WBBL clash between the Sevenoaks Suns and the Caledonia Pride. Suns are leading 32-21 at the half, and really it's been a defensive effort from both teams. Some missed layups, no doubt, but both defenses really made life tough, and Sevenoaks unable to really pull away as many probably would have expected coming in. And the really story of the first half, from our point of view, is the aggressiveness of Sian Phillips for the Caledonia Pride, and she leads all scores at the break with 10 points. It is Michael Hanson-Morris here with Josh Bett at the Surrey Sports Park. And Josh, what do you think Sevenoaks are talking about in the huddle now as they get ready for this second half?
Well, they've got to keep going to the game plan. As we saw, they had some tough looks in the first half, but, you know, as I kept saying in the first half, they're great players. They just keep on shooting the ball and they keep going to what works for them. They've been tested, they've been frustrated, but it doesn't mean you stop shooting the ball. You know, they had a couple of injuries, I think, in the first half with Lavinia De Silva and Janice Monacana. But again, if they can go down to their low block play with those two players down low and try and pull some double teams over and find some open looks on the perimeter with a kick out, that's going to work very well for them. And in terms of Caledonia Pride, you said it very well. Number 4, Ranger, she came out on the court first out of both teams because I think she was, 0 for 8 in the first half. And that's what good shooters do. She realizes that she's going through a bad patch, but, you know, it's not going to stop her from shooting the ball. And if she can get things going in the second half, this could be a close basketball game. It's only 11-point difference right now.
Yeah, and Maud Ronget coming in, averaging 17 a game, 0 of 8 from the break. So you say she gets a season average of, let's say, even 8 in the first half. This is certainly a lot different ball game, as Caledonia will come out with Ronget, Sian Phillips, Ella Doherty, Polly Story, and their captain, Jenna Beattie. And Suns, another thing from that first half, 13 offensive rebounds in the first half, but as much as we said it, they only had the 4 second chance points, and there's little things that normally this Suns team are so efficient at converting, but just couldn't get some things to go. And Pride did an exceptional job of walling up a lot of times around the rim and making life difficult. And it will be the Suns' ball for this second half. Suns also coming out with their starting 5. So Renee Bush, Kat Carr, Tiani Clark, Irene Garrido Perez, and Lavinia De Silva on the floor. And we are underway for the second half. Can Sevenoaks Suns get to 13-0 on the season? We will have an answer in about 40 minutes time here from the Surrey Sports Park, and straight away Suns going to their leader, Kat Carr. She finds Renee Bush.
Oh, beautiful pass.
And as Josh said, beautiful pass, just a little scoop to the cutting Renee Bush. And Lavinia De Silva, when you're struggling from the rim, a wide open layup is a great way to get you going.
Definitely, but I mean, you look at a player like Renee Bush. She's come out, she's missed quite a few shots, but I mean, those shots are going to drop pretty soon. But the vision on Renee Bush to make that penetration and just to dish it off to De Silva, brilliant play.
And now Phillips backing down on Carr. She's going to have to put something up on the buzzer and beats the buzzer. Indeed, great defense by Kat Carr. Again, did a great job walling up, and the Pride have switched off at the other end as Garrido Perez able to just roll straight down the left-hand side, catch the ball and lay it home for 2. And Pride, really a rare mistake in transitions. Ella Doherty goes for the step through, leaves it short, and Lavinia De Silva asking for the travel, but
yeah, Coach Len Bush is right. That's a travel. That ball didn't hit the rim. I even thought the move was a travel, but she caught the ball. I mean, fair play to getting her own rebound and scoring, but that's a traveling violation.
And Ella Doherty now on to 9 points personal as Tiani Clark gets the ball screen. 5 on the shot clock. Carr, high post, nearly gets Phillips in the air. It's going to have to try and find
pass.
De Silva underneath, and she gets it off just in time. And that is what Kat Carr does.
Well, these two players, they played with each other a very, very long time. They're practically sisters. They've played with each other. They know each other very well. And you can see, again, it's 2 penetrations and 2 very nice dish-offs. The vision from both Kat Carr and Renee Bush is just phenomenal.
And Ronget, again, you can't connect, but another great look from 3. Good decision this time by Kat Carr on the kick out. And it looks like, so Sian Phillips on the kick out. It looked like Kat Carr just got caught in the eye a little bit, and she will need to come out. And in off the bench is Millie Stevens. But yeah, no, it's that veteran thing as well. As you hear the shot clock being counted down as well, and a lot of people think 2-1, got to put something up, and Kat knows that 1 second is really 1.9, 1.8, and there's enough time to make the pass to give Lavinia that time to lay it home.
Definitely. Going back to the previous play, though, again, it's another good shot by Ronget, a penetration to kick out, but again, the shots aren't dropping, but you still have to keep shooting the ball right now.
Yeah, and Suns with the highest lead of the game at 13. Kat Carr's going to line up the triple and make that lead 16. Kat Carr just given enough space, and Ronget hand down, not contesting, and Kat Carr's got the ability to knock it down, and that's Polly Story in the high post. Decides initially against the jumper, going to take it the second time asking, and that's one of those, Josh, just overthinking.
Well, exactly there, but if you go back to the previous play, what I say, great players will keep on shooting the ball. A penetration kick out, Kat Carr on the perimeter, 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, she'll knock that down.
Yeah, and now Kat Carr wide open underneath, but blows the layup. 10 out of 10 from 3, Josh, but 9 out of 10 from layups. And Pride are looking to push in transition. They had some success early trying to get into the paint, but Ella Doherty throws it away. And Kat Carr out in transition, fouled from behind by Jenna Beattie. Beattie, one of those fouls, didn't want to give it, but Kat Carr kind of just stopped right in front of her. And the only thing you're going to do at that situation is run into her, unfortunately.
Well, Kat Carr did miss that wide open layup down low, but again, it's one thing you got to compliment about Len Bush's basketball team. It's the movement off the ball. Nobody is very static. Everybody's doing something, whether it's a screen off the ball or on the ball. You name it, everybody's got. Now you can see T. Clark pulls up.
Little long, and De Silva can't pull a rebound. Again, Sevenoaks so comfortable from all 3 levels of scoring. as Ella Doherty again with another turnover. Pride did such a good job in the first half of looking after the ball. Only 6 turners at the break, but Ella Doherty with a couple here early on in the second half, and it's not what Pride need right now as they try and get a foothold in this game. Tiana Clark, 8 on the shot clock, gets the screen. This time, he's not going to stop in the mid-range, get all the way to the rim. A lot of contact, no call. Ball did not hit the rim, so De Silva's going to pull down the rebound, but the shot clock is going to run out. And that time, good defense by Cummins to make Tiana Clark's life tough.
It's interesting because whenever Lavinia De Silva goes pick and roll, whether it's with Tiana Clark or Kat Carr or Renee Bush, you can see she just holds back a little bit before she rolls to the basket. I think what she likes to allow is the person with the ball to get to the basket and isolate. But if she rolls to the basket right after setting that screen, she's going to be wide open all night long.
Yeah, and see if Pride can get some points. Once again, it's Polly Story. Left drive, spins back to the right, and a really pretty move by Polly Story to get her first field goal of the game. She was 0 of 6, but gets on the scoreboard as Garida Perez drives, kicks out to Kat Carr, and Kat Carr is starting to heat up, and watch out everyone. Once she gets going, she's not going to slow down.
Told you, great players, they'll keep shooting the ball and they'll find that rhythm, and right now it's the Kat Carr show.
Kat Carr had started 0 of 4 from the floor, but she's now up to 8 points personal as Caledonia again able to lay it home. Sean Phillips in every play, it almost seems like, and it's great to see how her development is continuing, and now she is guarding Kat Carr as well. And really in that first half is maybe something we didn't highlight enough is Phillips' defense on Carr as well, as De Silva able to miss, but another offensive rebound. This time De Silva caught underneath the hoop and throws it away, and Sean Phillips again making plays, and unfortunately steps out of bounds. But Sean Phillips, we might as well just say her name every 10 seconds, Josh. I think that's where we're going to get to.
Oh, she's a spectacular player. Yeah, you can see she's all over the place. Defensively, she's putting good man-to-man defense on Kat Carr. But they've got a double change now because it looks like Janice Monicana is going to come back into the game for Lavinia De Silva.
Yeah, and Renee Bush also in off the bench. And a Pride sub as well as Jenna Beattie takes a break. And Ava Coe had some really... Sorry, Sophie Tweedy in the game. And Tweedy had a couple of really nice defensive plays, highlighted by the block in that first half off the help side. She's been really impressive in, and again, this Pride team, super young. Tweedy's first year in the WBBL, and she's someone that's going to continue to grow and develop, and she's certainly on defensive end showing some good signs here this afternoon as Carr gets by Phillips, but Phillips forces Carr into the turnaround, but that does not matter.
8 points now already here in the third quarter. I told you, great players, they'll keep shooting the ball.
And now Pride trying to establish on the inside. Tweedy forced to kick out to Doherty, and Pride have to reset. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. 10 seconds for Cummins, who finds Doherty. Polly Story gets past Monicana on the fake, gets a little bit of contact. Can't get it to go, but Polly Story stays with it and is able to lay it home. And Pride again, just a little slow getting back. It looks like maybe they're trying to get into a bit more of a press, but what you've got to do is find your matchups, and you can't let Kat Carr get into the paint. Another terrific pass, but this time Tiana Clark rejected from behind, and the Suns will keep hold of the ball.
That's what I like about Tiana Clark as well. When I go back to saying she's tough as nails, because the block did come from behind where I thought there was a bit of contact. Again, no reaction to the referee, just kept on playing.
As Renee Bush works baseline, gets away with a little bit of a hook perhaps, but finds the open play in Garrido Perez, and Suns are starting to really find these kickouts now. Pride did a good job early of kind of collapsing and making Suns' life difficult, but now they're starting to find the cut and find that extra person.
Well, Caledonia Pride right now might need to find an electrician, because the Sevenoaks Suns are shooting the lights out right now here in the third quarter.
Yeah, Suns with 15 points already in this third quarter, as Monicana is going to get back to that left drive that she loves, but Tweedy does a good job, and Pride out in rotation, doing a good job forcing extra pass, but the one person you don't rotate to is Renee Bush, and Pride get away with leaving Renee Bush open from the three-point line, as Cummins is going to line it up, and this time number 8 of Caledonia is the one that can't make the open three, and Pride really struggling again from the perimeter. They're now 1 of 7 from downtown, as Coach Donnie McDonald sends a couple of subs to the bench. Garrido Perez at this time lines up the three and able to get it to go, and This is the depth of this Sevenoaks Suns team coming down. Garrido Perez this time with the triple. And this game is unfortunately starting to slip away from the visitors from Scotland. As Doherty now 8 on the shot clock. Ball is knocked away by Garrido Perez, who keeps it in bounds. And Kat Carr, full court pass. Renee Bush stops up and under, lays it home. Time out, Caledonia Pride.
Beautiful play there by Renee Bush, not only just to run the fast break, but also to pull the pump fake and just to kiss that one off the glass. And again, right now, get your umbrellas out because it's all raining right now from the Sevenoaks Suns.
Yeah, and again, it's really been Tiani Clark and Kat Carr who's dominated this third quarter at both ends of the floor. Defensive plays out, long passes, and then just the savviness of the passes, and they're both working. In fact, breaking news, we have a triple-double. Kat Carr, 10 points, 12... No, I can't read. Ignore me. That's 11 defensive rebounds, 12 rebounds total. We do not have a triple-double.
It's okay. Nobody will blame you for that one. No, don't worry. But I mean, look, you don't even have to statistically even look at the stats to assess how Kat Carr is playing, because it's only taken the third quarter for her to get the rhythm going. As I just said about, great players, whether they go through a bad spell or a good spell, at some point they're going to go through a rhythm where they get on fire. So that's the quarter led by Kat Carr, Sevenoaks Suns are having right now. No surprise to see them up by 21 points.
And if you're Caledonian, what do you need to do, especially on the offensive floor, in terms of looking after the ball a little bit better and not allowing Sevenoaks to get out in transition?
Well, Caledonia Pride, as I said in the first half, they needed to get out in transition a lot quicker. If you can get an easy option, go for it right now. But at the moment, the Sevenoaks Suns are on fire, as I said. You've got to slow the tempo down, because one thing Caledonia Pride have been a little bit vulnerable to is their transition defense. Miss or make a shot. They're very slow to get back on defense, which has been allowed the Sevenoaks Suns to dominate here in the third quarter.
And Pride will get us back underway out of the timeout into the game, wearing 6, Rose Harvey, and Maud Rongier back in as well, see if she can get herself going. But Tiani Clark doing a great job, and we just talked about the impact she has at both ends of the floor, and there she is, flying off the screen, not allowing Rongier to get the free off and then knocking the ball away. And Caledonia will have the sideline ball. 12 seconds left on the shot clock, but it does not matter as Cummins throws away the inbound pass, and Kat Carr able to lay it home, and the turnovers mounting up in the third quarter for the Caledonia Pride, and the Suns have blown this out to a 23-point lead all of a sudden.
Well, Garrido came up with a steal there with a hand in the passing lane, but look at Kat Carr. She ran the fast break as quick as she did to get out ahead and just to make sure they got an easy basket on that play.
And Taryn Cummins faked the three, seen her take a couple already.
Beautiful pass.
And then able to make the layup good as Kat Carr gets 2 in the air on the fake, drives and stops and puts it over Polly Story. And if you want to see a Kat Carr clinic, you just need to put on the third quarter of this game, and you will see her at her finest. She struggled 2 early fouls in the first half, 0 of 4, and got the layup to go at the end of the first half to get a bit of rhythm, and she has taken full advantage of that as Pride try and work the high-low. And
what's that now, 14 points now for Kat Carr here in the third quarter?
Yeah, and again, Pride trying to establish the high-low, and Sevenoaks have done a really good job of taking it away all game. This time, Story's pass for Kerr just a little too long, and unfortunately for the Pride, yet another turnover.
That's not a bad offense for the Caledonia Pride, because they were able to throw the ball down low. As now they got the ball down low to Ebekar, but Ebekar's got to realize the double team's coming over. She's got to kick it out to whoever's wide open at that point.
Yeah, and now she is Kerr running the floor. Monacana was late after blowing the layup, and Kerr able to lay it home for 2. And she will get her first points of the ball game. And see if Pride can string some stops together to end the first half, something they were great at in the first half, but Kat Carr able to curl off the screen and lay it home for 2. And right now, Sevenoaks Suns getting whatever shot they want, wherever they want it, whenever they want it.
It's the movement off the ball. When someone's got the ball, whoever's away from it doing something, where it's a cut to the basket or a back screen, that's the difference between a good team and a great team, and that's why they're undefeated.
And Sian Phillips this time was setting the flare screen and made a perfect read to slip it. Got fouled by Kat Carr, and Sian Phillips, who's been a little bit quiet in this third quarter, is going to line with a chance to complete a 3-point play, and that is Kat Carr's third personal foul, and looks like she will take a break. In for the Suns will be Kat Holm.
Well, now I got a question for you. Now that they have a 21-point lead, is this a good chance for Coach Busch to put some younger players out there and rest his starters, or does he keep his best players in at the moment? Because right now he's still got Kat Carr in there. He has taken Renee Bush to the bench, but also Tierney Clark is also in. Yeah,
I think we'll see some rotation in this fourth quarter. Obviously, Suns on the road again tomorrow. They travel to Cardiff in a rematch of Wednesday's game. And apart from the first quarter, really, that was a contest for 3 quarters. So Suns will not overlook that for sure, as, again, the Carr-Clark combination looking like it was going to get something, but Tierney Clark this time just can't make the leg. Behind the back pass from Rose Harvey. Maud Ronget step back 2 is short. And Rose Harvey's terrific pass, unable to get something to go. And the Sevenoaks Suns will have the final 10 seconds of this third quarter to get something. Garrido Perez will handle it. She is isolated on Jenna Beattie. She drives into the lane, finds home, kick out to Tierney Clark, her 3 up and short. Defensive rebound, Ava Kerr, but there will not time for the Pride, who had a 2-on-0 transition break, but does not matter if the clock reads 000. And that will do it for the third quarter, and a quarter dominated by the hosts, winning it 26-16, and they will take a 21-point lead into the final 10 minutes.
Going back to that previous play where Caledonia Pride had the ball, I mean, I wasn't aware of what was on the shot clock, but Maud Ronget, that's probably the most poor percentage shot that she has taken in this game, because she had a hand in her face. But again, going back down the previous play in which the Sevenoaks Suns did have their last shot at the court, I mean, what a build-up it was, a penetration, a dish off, and then a wide-open shot. But a rarity that we've seen here in the third quarter, a missed shot from the Sevenoaks Suns.
Yeah, for sure. And even some of the ones they missed were layups. And I think that's probably, ironically, Len Bush's biggest irritation with this Suns team this season is they've not been great from inside of 2 feet. And they normally are, but we've seen so many missed layups, not just today, but throughout the course of the season. And as this season continues, Josh, obviously they've still got to play the Leicester Riders twice. They've still got to play Nottingham Wildcats, who they nearly lost to 10 days ago on the road. And then obviously going into the playoffs, how important is it that they can tidy those little things up as the season progresses?
I mean, look, this is one of those games where things don't drop from them. As we saw in the first quarter and the second quarter, look, you're not going to play perfectly for 4 quarters. There's no such thing as having a 100% field day from the field goals from the field day, of course. I don't think what I just said made any sense. But the point is, what I'm trying to say is that, you're going to miss shots. And I think the most important thing, as you said, is when you go up against the better teams, of course, the London Lions, the Riders, and as well up in Nottingham, you got to make sure that these shots are the ones you tuck away, because those are going to be much, much, much tougher games that you go against.
For sure. And obviously Sevenoaks on the road completing their 4-5 against Cardiff, and then they've got the Manchester Mystics away on Wednesday night, and then they will be back here in action next Saturday against the Nottingham Wildcats. As for the Pride, they also have a busy schedule as the games come thick and fast in April as we build towards the playoffs. Next up will be the Cardiff Met Archers for the Pride, and they will worry about this one in 20 minutes time, and they'll see if they can make some plays in this fourth quarter, because really outside the last 10 minutes, the Pride really made a good account of themselves in the first 20 minutes of the game, as Ronget working on Holm. Garrido Perez able to switch with Holm on the drive, and Sevenoaks Suns get yet another steal. Kat Carr, long 2 is up and good for Renee Bush, and another assist for Kat Carr. She is up to 5 to go for 16 points, 13 rebounds. And Tierney Clark also close to that double-double, as Ronget, who is still yet to score, kicks it inside to Sian Phillips, working on Carr, and she will shuffle those feet and be called for the travel. As subs for Donnie McDonald, it is Ava Kerr checking out for Polly Story. Obviously, Donnie McDonald taking the head coaching reins this year. Bart Senger's not with the team today after the birth of his daughter just a couple of weeks ago.
Congratulations to him.
And Donnie McDonald's certainly done a good job with his side as Holm fakes, gets into lane, kicks it to Garrido Perez. She will drive. Holm now gets it back, 5 on the shot clock, recycles Kat Carr from the parking lot. And Kat Carr is on fire.
Great players. So let's say great players. Can turn it on and off. Just keep on shooting the ball, and that's what Kat Carr is, a great player.
And now Ella Doherty driving. Good defense by the youngster Izzy Wood to cut off the lane. Rongier, 10 on the shot clock. Beattie to Sian Phillips. Again, working on Carr, but good defense by Izzy Wood to come in on the help side. And Izzy Wood will lead the Suns transition. Carr swings it to Renee Bush. Corner, this time the three up and a little short from Renee Bush. But again, Suns just getting what they want in transition. And Pride forced to slow it down. And really, the fact that the Suns have dominated this game, as again, Suns being aggressive on the ball screen, is the transition game. Really, the tempo has been suited. Stories long three up and short. But yes, Josh, just talk about how the Suns have dominated the transition battle, which is probably the one area that Pride would probably want to be winning.
I think they've dominated the transition battle on both ends, because look, in the previous play there, they've hit 2 back-to-back threes with Renee Bush and with Kat Carr. Now, Renee Bush missed the last 3-point, but did you see how quickly she sprinted back on defense? And that's the difference between these two teams. Not only is the offensive transition game from the Sevenoaks Suns is much more superior, but it's also the effort just to get back and stop Caledonia Pride from having any fast break basketball whatsoever.
Yeah, and Coach Donnie McDonald will use this opportunity to use a timeout. His side trailing by 26. And a quick look around the WBBL. There's 3 games today, unfortunately, all going on at the same time. So Manchester Met Mystics, who the Sevenoaks Suns will play in the midweek, trail by 4 against the Essex Rebels at half-time.
Shout out to our friends at the Manchester Mystics game, both to Kaz and to Adam. You can follow Adam on Twitter. It's Bram161. He makes the best baseball hats in British basketball. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. And unfortunately, he hasn't provided us with any, so I'm not going to give him that credit to say he's the best.
I didn't ask for any. Oh, bless him.
And there is a close game going on in the northeast. And you know what? It's a 2-possession game late. We want you to stay with us. So what we're going to do is not spoil what is going on in the northeast. And then when this game is done, you can head over and check out the end of that game. But I can tell you the Durham Palatinates and Newcastle Eagles are in a 2-possession game inside the final 2 minutes. So the Northeast Derby, certainly everything you expect from a Northeast Derby. Both teams going at it, and both teams here on the floor for the final 8 minutes. And Suns making a little change with Zalea Franklin checking in, replacing Izzy Wood, and we'll no doubt see some rotation in the 4th quarter again from the Suns. But the depth of their junior players has come through. Izzy Woods in particular has done well from downtown this season, and I don't believe Franklin has missed a free throw, so all things are helpful when you've got those players on the bench. And Kat Carr lines up another 3.
Can't defend her, sorry.
And makes another 3, and she is up to 22 points. Personal reminder, with a minute to go in the first half, Kat Carr was scoreless as Kat Holm denies the pass from Polly Story. Suns out in transition. This time Pride able to get back. Kat Carr loses the ball, but the ball somehow stays in bounds on the baseline. Not quite sure how it got there. Millie Stevens back, give and go with Carr, and the referee will call a foul.
Sian Phillips is going to call that one for the reach, because it was great help side defense by, I believe it was number 19, if I'm correct, Ella Doherty.
Doherty or Beattie in the middle on that rotation. But yeah, Sian Phillips kind of just nowhere to go on Stevens from behind. And Millie Stevens will go to the line for 2. Not a game with many free throws. In fact, it's just the 11th and 12th free throw of the entire game. Suns 4 of 8 now from the line. Pride 2 of 3. And Millie Stevens able to notch her first point of the afternoon at the line. Sian Phillips again looking to be aggressive in transition. Finds Doherty. Story in the short corner. Nice underneath pass. And we've seen it at one end from the Suns, and Pride learning as you go. You get beat by it, do it to your opposition.
Absolutely. But now, more importantly, it's when you don't have the ball and you see a person on your team make a penetration, you've got to do something. Spot up to the perimeter or make a cut down low.
And this time a rare turnover by the Suns, but Beattie tried to throw it ahead and managed to throw it in between Rongier and Phillips. And unfortunately, that is a turnover for the Pride. And the last thing you want when you finally get a turnover and a chance to run is to throw it away. Suns
back over here.
Suns only with the 7 turnovers this afternoon. They are the league leaders in 12, and I thought for a second Kat Carr was
same thing as well.
And if that is, she'd pulled that, I think me and you would have left the building.
I'm surprised she didn't shoot the ball from there the way she's been shooting here in the second half.
Kat Holm nearly making the cross court steal, read that pass, but Suns able to get back. Beattie fakes the free, goes to little floater, and Jenna Beattie able to get it to roll. The Pride will be thinking, where's that been? The amount of rolled in and out for the Pride, they finally get one to go. And now Holm in the high post. Kat Carr was looking like she was going to duck in. Now she rolls out. And Pride taking a little bit closer attention to Kat Carr in this possession. So she's forced to give it up on the skip. The long free from Garrido Perez up. And Irene Garrido Perez unable to connect on that. And there is
coming your way now.
Kick ball. And under COVID protocol, I can't even pick it up. So I will let that bounce back out onto the court. And subs for the Suns and for the Pride, in fact. So Renee Bush checking in for Kat Carr, and I assume with 5:38 to go, that will do it for Kat Carr this afternoon ahead of tomorrow's game in Wales. Kat Carr 22, 13 and 5 as Rongier corner free up and good. And you can hear the excitement from the Caledonia Pride bench. Maud Rongier gets her first points of the afternoon.
Well, we know what a good player she is, and that was just it's been a tough game for her, of course, but I mean, she's had some very good shots tonight, and you know what, she's going to look back on this game and probably go to the gym and practice first thing when she gets home.
And also, it's nice that she's still willing to take shots, 0 of 10. She's willing still to drive as Millie Stevens drives into the middle of the lane, and there will be a foul on the Pride. Another reach in. They've called the foul on 27. Unfortunately, 27 is the one that got fouled, so we'll see if that gets corrected. Indeed, the table buzzing in, and also in, I believe, for the first time, unless she snuck in the first half and I missed it, Sophie Loughran into the game for Caledonia wearing 22. And that Pride foul was given on Ella Doherty. That will be her second, fourth team foul for Caledonia. So Suns will be shooting for the final 5 minutes of the 5 minutes of the game. And Millie Stevens this time able to make 2 of 2 from the line. Doherty to Pollyanna Story. Doherty gets it back, so looking to go back to that left hand, but Garrido Perez cuts her off. Rongier working the baseline, forced to put the ball on the floor. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Loughran, not sure she realises, finds Cummings, and the Caledonia Pride, they're not aware of the shot clock and will take the 24-second violation.
That's just the intensity of the Sevenoaks Suns defense. I mean, look, it's not about trying to play defense to get the steal. It's about playing defense to force whoever you're defending into a poor shot or a turnover. And that's how you play. That's the difference. A good team and a great team. That's why they're undefeated here in the WBBL.
Indeed, and we saw our lovely WBBL sponsors at Molten ask, can the Sevenoaks Suns go 20-0? And they've certainly got a chance when they get to 13. And Len Bush will probably, if everything goes well, as Rongier gets a big block on Stevens, but Pride unable to come up with the ball. Renee Bush is free off. Kat Holm attempting to save it, but can't quite keep the ball in bounds. But great defense by Rongier there on Stevens. But Josh, certainly Sevenoaks have a chance to go 20-0. But if they wrap up the title and the schedule they've got, will they perhaps rest some bodies towards the end of the season? Because they've only got 3 days from finishing their season in Scotland till they have to play in the playoffs.
I think they'll be looking at the matchups against the Riders. And I think they'll be looking at that as the big one. If they can win that one, then they can probably assert themselves and win the match, the head-to-head, and probably try and get the title. I mean, look, you got to ask yourself a question. Do you want to go the whole season undefeated? Yeah, of course you can. But look, if you can rest a few players going into the postseason, you've got to, I mean, time will tell, of course. You've got to assess how that works out, because if they go undefeated, they win the title, and there's the playoffs as well. You want to be healthy going into the playoffs. So it's a tough one, of course. I mean, if you can go for it, of course, great. If not, well, at the end of the day, you want to bring some silverware home. Yeah,
and the final game of the regular season will be the Pride and Suns up in Scotland. A lovely Wednesday night road trip for Sevenoaks.
Well, we should drive up for that one, you know? If I can get the day off work.
And it'll be Maud Rongier taking a break. Rose Harvey back into the game. And Sevenoaks really rolling with the bench down the stretch as Stevens. Ella Doherty with a huge rejection. We will be seeing that on the highlights package. And Sevenoaks going coast to coast. Lochran layup just a little long. And Franklin coming down with the defensive rebound. But Ella Doherty with a big time block. And Hayley Miller going to be called for the offensive foul. A little bit of incidental contact. Just sent Ella Doherty flying to the floor.
Going back to that block, that was a spectacular block, but that's the kind of block they probably wanted in the first half, because something like that just builds a lot of confidence for your team on defense. Right now with 3:25 to go, it's a great highlight, as you said, but has little effect on how this game is going to end up.
No, but again, teams like the Pride who are still developing, these minutes are still vital, especially with upcoming games that they really believe they can win. As Franklin gets into lane, gives it to Hayley Miller, her foul line jumper just a little off to the right. Offensive rebound tracked down by Catherine Holm. Suns going with a really big lineup from certainly them. Cat Holm now playing the three as Franklin goes in. Doherty with another block. Franklin offensive rebound. Stevanovic into the game for the first time. She's stripped. Don't know if I think I'll go down as a steal rather than block. And Ella Doherty now looking to go coast to coast.
Good play.
Fakes the pass and lays it home. And right now this is an Ella Doherty show.
That's brilliant, of course. You know, I mean, Ella Doherty, she's doing Doherty, excuse me. Sorry, I have a horrible way of pronouncing people's names. I do apologize. But again, both ends of the court, as soon as she got the ball, went in transition, faked the pass and laid that one up. But again, going back to the Suns here, one player that I've been very impressed with in the last two games that I've been here is number 35, Hayley Miller. Her movement off the ball, but here you can see she pulls up for a shot. Some good looks for her. She's got to keep shooting the ball and build that confidence in that mid-range.
And looks are going. Offensive foul, little hook by Millie Stevens working the baseline. And yeah, for sure, Hayley Miller's had an expanded role. She's obviously been part of this Sevenoaks academy team in the past, playing WNBL Division 1 and starting to get some WBBL minutes last year. Now she's really taken advantage of the departure of Julia Koppel and Len wanting a little bit of a bigger body at the 5 spots sometimes, rather than using the veterans he's got in Stevens and Holm, who are both 4, as Rose Harvey spins, can't get the layup to go. Offensive rebound also just a little short from the Pride, but Pride really finishing strong here, Josh, and showing just what they're capable of, and again, unfortunately, just can't get the shots to drop this afternoon.
Well, as you said, there's a lot of potential with these young players, but a nice little high-low play there. Of course, Miller comes up a little bit short with it, but yeah, the future's definitely bright for the Caledonia Pride. They've got a good coach and they've got a good system, and as you said, minutes like these are just good for the younger players to build a bit of confidence. And again, Mila Stevanovic, who in the last game came out and hit 2 3-pointers in the fourth quarter. There you can see her ability. She makes a penetration the key for that one.
Yeah, and again, Suns giving time off the bench as Harvey double teamed on the drive, tries to find a pass, but no one was cutting for the Pride. And Franklin going coast to coast. And I've got no idea who blocked it because there's about 3 Pride players in the area. I'm going to give it to Cummins, but I could be wrong.
I felt there was a foul there because Franklin had a hand in her back when she went up for that layup. And again, at that point, 2 players around. If there's a slight little nudge when she's going for a layup, she should be going to the free throw line for 2 shots.
But again, nice to see Pride active around the rim, and they've done a good job down the stretch of making it as Izzy Wood. Long 2, leaves that little short rebound home. She's going to try and go up. Doesn't get the foul on the putback, and the ball will go out of bounds. But again, Suns getting some offensive rebounding success down the stretch as Ava Kerr
should have shot
open.
It.
She doesn't shoot many, goes to a little step through, and Ava Kerr doesn't shoot the 3 and gets the layup to go. And Pride, I'll tell you what, the one thing that's impressed me is the footwork down line. You can see the job the coaching staff have done to develop that. The amount of times you've seen Ella Doherty with a step through, stuff from Phillips there, and even Ava Kerr showing her footwork off for a 6'3" big as Holm kicks it to Wood. Wide open jumper for Izzy Wood, a little long. But yeah, the footwork for the Pride's been terrific, and what a job they've done through developing, as Cummins is going to shoot the 3. And that, again, story of the Caledonia Pride day. Great look, just can't get it to drop.
Well, both teams are very well coached. You can see that you get penetrations in the lane, you get kickouts to wide open shooters. Just the difference in this game is that there's 3 excellent, I'd say 5 excellent players for the Suns that, unfortunately, Caledonia Pride at this moment can't match up to. That's not to say in a few seasons they can't match up to them, but the point I'm trying to make here, of course, is that both teams technically very well assembled.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was a shot or a pass by Franklin, but either way, it got to Kat Holmer, who was able to lay it home, so we'll be nice here. We'll give her the assist. And there's 21 seconds left of this fourth quarter. And still a game.